California waterfowl is special in that we're one of the biggest or the biggest state waterfowl conservation organizations in the U.S.
Jason and I both together run the waterfowl programs for California Waterfowl. So we have it kind of broken down where Jason handles a lot of the nesting side of things. So he'll do like the weed program. I help run the wood duck program and do most of the like back side of the banding program. And then when we're out in the field, we do everything together. That's kind of the umbrella of the waterfowl programs.
The egg salvage program has been going for decades in the valley, but in 2014, CWA kind of took on the program to help manage it. It's a great program that rescues nests out of farm fields that are going to be cultivated or harvested for normal farming practices, and those nests would have otherwise been destroyed by the tractors. And so the farmers, reach out to me. We work out a plan to get those eggs out of the field. We take them to one of 3 permitted hatchery facilities up here in the valley, where the hatcheries will incubate them, hatch them, raise them to about 5 weeks of age, and then we'll come in and band them and take them to release sites, which are usually, well-managed wetlands and rice fields.
The wood duck program's been around for a long time. In 1991, California Waterfowl kind of took over the management of wood duck boxes throughout the whole state, so kind of trying to get them to all collaborate under one program. We have volunteers across the entire state. We have projects from Northern California to Southern California and everywhere in between. Annually, we hatch about 30,000 ducklings through the program. From my understanding, it's the largest conservation-based, volunteer-based program in the country. So we have anywhere from 400 to 600 volunteers, and they manage their own projects and reporting that data back to us so we can collaborate all that data at the end of the year, and that's how we come up with our numbers, 30,000 ducklings per year. And we're just over 950,000 ducklings, so we're getting really close to hatching our millionth wood duck out of our wood duck boxes, so pretty exciting.
And then we have the rice levy programs, a new program we're starting this year to help keep more nesting habitat on the landscape. CWA did a study back in 1994, and they found that one rice field in Richvale produced over 1,400 ducklings just on the rice checks. Rice is kind of tricky because it's a great habitat. It's a rice levee full of cover, surrounded by water. It's perfect for nesting mallards. But most farmers construct their rice levees in the spring, and so by the time May rolls around and the birds want to nest, there's very little cover left on those checks. So our rice levee program incentivizes farmers to construct those levees in wintertime or leave them from the previous planting season. And that way there's ample vegetation for those birds to nest on come springtime when the birds need some cover to nest in. A few years ago, CWA started a delayed wheat harvest incentive program. Wheat is also extremely attractive to nesting waterfowl. It's a lot of times planted adjacent to rice fields, which is great brood habitat. It's got the perfect amount of cover at the right time of the year, and a lot of times like the most nesting activity you'll see up here in the valley will be over wheat fields. The problem with that is they like to harvest wheat in the beginning of June, which is like towards the middle or end of peak nesting season up here in the valley. And so what we do is pay farmers an extra $30 to $40 an acre to hold off harvest until the beginning of July, and that way we're reducing the impact that wheat harvest has on our local waterfowl population.
So we're out here right now, we're doing our postseason rocket netting, typically targeting pintail. Pintail like open water, they like to congregate in large groups. During the postseason, which we're at right now, it's really easy to get them on bait. All the habitat has been around all season, and so that all that food and energy that's out there that they're looking for has been depleted through the year, and so once you get them on bait, they get really hooked on it, and it's a good resource for them right now.
Once we feel like we got a good spot going with birds hitting it, we'll come back out at night. We'll set out a net, and the nets are 30 feet by 60 feet. They're kind of folded up in a long strip. Freshen up the bait out in front of it, mark it with flags, hook the rockets up to a wire, and run that wire 1,500 feet away somewhere where the birds ain't gonna see us when we pull up. And when we got a good concentration of birds on a net, we just sit there and wait for the right moment when they're all pressed up against the road. And then we'll call the shot.
I'm gonna shoot it if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Whenever I'm ready.
All right, shoot it.
Once we shoot the net, we'll catch the birds, get them out of the net. We'll try and get them out of the net as quick as possible, get them in crates, we'll band them. We'll occasionally take some measurements on them to kind of assess their body condition and see how they're doing. And we can compare that to previous years.
That banding data goes into a big database with the bird banding laboratory, and then researchers and data modelists and stuff can use that to look at harvest ratios, age-sex ratios, migration patterns, and that can all be put into a model to help better set, hunting regulations and seasons and stuff like that.
California Waterfowl received a grant from Sitka where you were able to purchase 20 transmitters, and along with those 20 transmitters, USGS supplied 20 transmitters. Our goal was to capture 40 mallards during the postseason, put these transmitters on the birds and keep track of their movements, their survivability, their survival rates, and more or less to keep track of where they went for nest site selection and potentially molting sites.